Hello, 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 everybody, and thank you for joining me once again to Can We Talk About It? Today, I want to give a shout out to my family and friends. A shout out to Reverend and Mrs. Brown. Hi, Reverend Brown. Hi, Sister Brown. I want to give a special shout out to my son, Tree, who was such a blessing in my life. I love you, son. And if I had 10,000 times 10,000 tongues, I could not praise God enough for having you in my life. So, I want to talk to you guys once again about something that I talked about before. It was called Ban the Box, and I do have some information for you guys. Now, Ban the Box is for convicts who's just gotten out of jail. They can't find a place to work, and the states are trying to get this law all over the country where they have a box, whereas have you ever been convicted of a criminal, any type of criminal any type of criminal activity. So they're trying to get that box off of there. But if you guys want any more, if you want to know more about it, what you can do is you can contact the National Employment Law Project. It's at 75 Madden Lane, 601 New York, New York, 10038. I'm going to say that again. You can contact the National Employment Law Project. It's located at 75 Maiden, Maiden Lane, LN, 601 New York, New York, 10038. Now they have something you can go online where you can work with them, and that's http colon slash slash www.nelp NELP.org about us slash work with us slash. I'm gonna say that again. Is you already know the HTTP. It's www.nelp.org slash about us slash work with us. So you can go there to view job openings, to I guess they'll give you whatever you need to go find your job or anything like that. So it's supposed to be here in Detroit. I know last time I talked, it was they had started it in Ann Arbor. I know they had it in Livonia also here in Detroit, and they're starting to have that all in and around Detroit. So for those of you who got out of jail, you really want to work, you can't find a job, this is the place where you can either go online or you can write these people, and they'll give you some type of information on how you can go about doing the things that you need to do to get a good, stable job. So I want to talk to you guys today. Now, I've talked to you guys before about Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, how Planned Parenthood was called the Negro Project, and it was actually designed for black women to abort their children because I guess the white race is under the impression that they're losing the country and this reverse racism going on and what have you. And it's just a shame that that they have these underlining so-called help places for us, and it never astounds me what the government will do to keep a certain race of people down, and it's just so sad to me. I've also came to you guys with a thing about organ harvesting, and I was reading up on that, and it's like 1.5 million black men become abducted every year, and that's an astounding rate all over the country. 1.5 million black men between the ages of 24 and 54 come up missing, and it's all due to organ harvesting. I was reading where a young lady came up missing. They found her, and their parents were going to give her a funeral. I guess they did an autopsy or what have you, and they wanted to check her organs out. Come to find out, she had no organs. They had took all of her organs, out of her body, and it's crazy. So, the reason I'm speaking on all this, because I was telling you about Margaret Sanger. There's another woman I want to talk to you about, and her name is Alice Bailey, and she's worked with, as Margaret Sanger, the Ku Klux Klan, the government, and she's worked with the NWO, which is the New World Order, even back in the 1915s, 1916. All of this stuff was going on with the New World Order. So in 1921, she ended up writing this 10-point program. I guess it was for Christians. And I want to read a couple of them. And one of them is saying to take God and prayer out of the education system, which we already know that they've done this. Now, mind you, what I'm reading to you was back in 1921. So it says to take God and prayer out of the education system. It says to change the curriculum to ensure that children are freed from bondage of Christian culture. Why? Because children go to school to be equipped to face life. They are willing to trust. They are willing to value what is being given to them. That's why I try to tell all of my black brothers and sisters who have children. You already see the way that they have the Detroit public school system. These people do not mean you no good. So we as in parents, and even people that's not parents, we need to come together, try to get us a building. There's a lot of black teachers and custodians, or everything that it takes to make a school out of work. And if we pull our resources together, we can have our own school. Now, back in, I think it was the 1920s or 1930s, and I'm not sure if it's Arizona, I can't remember, but we had our own stock exchange, and they came and bombed it. And because it's amazing how when a culture feels like you're doing better than them, they'll destroy everything you work for. The bad thing about this is there's people who paved the way for us to have the freedoms that we have now. Now, back in 1921, they set these rules in place for us to fail. Now, our people in the 1950s, 1960s, they died for us to have these anonymities. They died for us to have the freedoms that we're having. And there's a lot of young folks, there's a lot of women between the ages of, I'll say, 25 and 45 that still hasn't grown up, have kids. They're not knowledgeable in the way of politics. They're not knowledgeable in the way of the school system where their children go. And we need to be more knowledgeable about these things. Now, it's just a shame how when it comes to our children, we don't even take stock in what our children are doing anymore. We let the schools babysit and take care of our children now. So for the plan, number 2 was to reduce parental authority over their children. So we already know they've done that through protective services. Even your children can tell you nowadays, I will call protective services if you put your hands on me. We need to start standing up not only to the government, but to our children. We are supposed to be training our children. At the age of 2 and 3 years old, our children are training us, and that's a shame. So let me read 2 to you. Reduce the parental authority over the children. Break the communication between parent and child. Why? So that parents do not pass on their Christian traditions to their children. Liberate children from the bondage of their parents' tradition. How? Promote excessive child rights. In 1997 to 1998, South Africa introduced child rights legislation. It's called UNICEF. The UNICEF Charter. Today, a child is able to say to a parent, I do not want to hear that. I do not want to do what you're telling me. Teachers cannot talk to children. Children step up and say, I have my rights. You cannot talk to me like that. When I was growing up, I wish I would have talked to my mama like that. Now our children are running the world and they don't even have knowledge of how to wipe their butts. And we're letting them. And we're so scared of a government, of something that we created, we will bargain with our children. We will cry to our children to ask them to do right and this, that, and the other. I'm about to tell you parents right now, you better start beating the crap out these kids, your children, that's not listening to you. We got these governments and all of these institutions telling us what we should and what we shouldn't do for our children. And now they're saying, well, your child has the right to tell you what they're not going to do. Excuse me, people, but I'll be damned if I will let your child or any other child talk to me in any manner they see fit. You parents out here nowadays are turning your rights over blindly to government. You're not taking stock in your children, and it's bad for you and it's bad for your children. Okay, number 3, they're saying that destroy the Christian family structure. Why? It is oppressive, and that the family is the core of the nation. If you break the family, you break the nation. Liberate people from the confinements of structure. How? Promote sexual promiscuity. Did you hear what I said? Promote sexual promiscuity. Free young people to the concept of premarital sex. Let them have free sex, lifted so high that the joy of enjoying it, sex, is the highest joy in life. Fantasize it, that everybody will feel proud to be seen to be sexually active. Okay, they're saying that it's all right to do this, but then you're having all this sex, and then you have all these children. How do they combat that? Planned Parenthood, the Negro Project. So they want you to go out, have sex, be free about everything you do. Don't mind that there's all types of diseases out here that you can catch, that you can give somebody that can kill you. Because it's like this for some single parents. And I've heard children say this to their parents. Because you're a single mother or you're a single father, you're raising your children, and then you meet somebody, and we are not really supposed to have sex before we get married. Because for one, when you're having sex and then you get married, it's like everything else. That's why divorces are so quick. That's why people can say, I don't like this, so I'm going to something else. How can you like something that you never had if you keep yourself celibate? Now, your children will tell you, you'll tell them, excuse me, why are you having sex? Well, you're having sex. What do you mean you're having sex? I'm grown. And before I say that, excuse me. Yeah, I said I'm grown, but there's a lot of grown folks that's not in control of their body. That's not even in control of their own mindsets. Your children has gotten so grown that they've surpassed your way of thinking. The things that they see today, and I'm talking about children between the ages of 3 and 8. The things that they see today is just wild. The things that they see today, I don't think I've ever seen. This nation that we live in now is just a free-for-all. Do as thou wilt is the whole of the law. It doesn't matter whether we have commandments, spiritual commandments set in place for us. We don't even have morals anymore when it comes to our children. Some of these women and a lot of these men, and I'm talking about single men and women right now with children, you just let some of the women just let men run through them like a train. Your children see this, and the little girls feel like it's all right because that's the norm. And then the young men, your young boys see this and they feel like that's the norm. Or all I got to do is open my legs and I should be able to get anything I want. Or for the young men, I can run up into anybody and it's okay. And it's not okay. Get a hold of yourselves and your children, please. This is a grand design. This scheme is designed to keep the inner city, young men and women, babies. It's all about keeping a culture down. There's drugstores, liquor stores, gun stores, all types of things in our neighborhood that you would never see in the suburban neighborhood. We are so blinded to all this where we think it's normal. It's not normal. They never expect us to come out from under this, yet some of us do. That's because they have good parents or a good parent that live the yesteryear when our parents were growing up. When it was right to say yes ma'am and yes sir. I seen some stuff on Facebook where this young woman, I guess some children had ran into her yard messing with her children. And these children are like 10, 11 years old. It's like a whole gang of them. She's telling them to get away from her house. They come down cussing her out and this, that, and the other and blah, blah, blah. And where's the mother at? Then the mother comes down there with no shoes on, looking just as down south as she wants, and no offense to Southerners. I'm just saying back in the day, that's the way they had us, barefoot, pregnant, if not by our own culture, by them. And we still hold that trend today in the inner city. And that's a shame that we live that way because we are supposed to be the example. You sit outside all day long, drinking and smoking. And your children see this and they see you cussing, they see you doing all this stuff. When they get to a certain age, they start cussing at you. You want to start crying, that's not right, that's not. Where you think they got it from? You better wake up, people. Okay, this the fourth plan of this 10 plan program is if sex is free, then make abortion legal and make it easy. I just talked about that. I just talked about this. You can just run amok with the sex and then throw your babies away like they're trash. You can go have affairs on your husbands and on your wives or whatever. And I'm just speaking to the women now. Go have affairs and with somebody that you barely met, a one night stand, and not even consider that you have another soul inside you. And you just go to the abortion clinic like it's a trash can and get rid of. That's all in the grand design of things, people. It's all in the grand design. And we do it and be so proud of it. Don't think that if you haven't asked for forgiveness for killing, because it is murder, that God is going to just turn a blind eye to this. I get so tired of people sitting up saying, well, MF and this and B that and this, that, and the other. Then after that you say, because God knows. That's sacrilege. How are you going to put God and all of these cuss words in the same breath? The scriptures say, do bitter and do bitter waters run from the same fountain as good water? I don't think so. We need to start waking up. We are blindly being led. We have thought processes and don't even use them. We get strung out and say, I can't get off. I can't get off. I can't stop cussing. If you can go to the doctor's office and you ain't cussing, then you got self-control. If you can go to church and not cuss, then you have self-control. You cuss when you want, you have sex when you want, and you do drugs or whatever it is that we all do. We all have issues. Even me, I've told you, I'm an ex-addict. I've done things that I'm not proud of. I've lost my children. I went through a lot. But it took a lot for me to open my eyes to see that this is not something that us as African Americans, black people, or whatever you want to say, this is not something that we asked for. This was thrust upon us. And that's why I say for us, those of us who do not know our history are doomed to repeat it. A lot of people don't know about this 10-point program, and that's why I'm bringing it to you. Number 5, make divorce easy and legal. Free people from the concept of married life. That's basically saying, skip what God said. We gonna do it our way. Now, if you're running around getting married 4 or 5 times, soon as this person do something wrong, I'm out of here. I don't like you no more. What you mean I don't like you? You loved them enough to lay down with them. You loved them enough to have a vow with them. But when the thick get thin, when things get thick, you guys thin out. Oh, that wasn't the person for me. Then why did you marry them? God made man and woman to be married in holy matrimony. The vows between you two are not for you two alone. It's to God too. Man made divorce. God made marriage. Remember that. Number 6, people. Make homosexuality an alternative lifestyle. Alice Bailey preached over 65 years ago. Excuse me, and it's been longer than that, from 2017. That sexual enjoyment is the highest pleasure in humanity. No one must deny and no one must be restricted how to enjoy themselves. People should be allowed in whichever way they choose they want, whether it is homosexuality or incest or bestiality, which means having sex with animals, as long as the two agree. Now, in incest, how can a child agree to having sex? Any child. I don't care if it's incest. I'm just saying pedophilia, period. Because incest, if you're having sex with a little child, is pedophilia. Even if it's a brother and sister and you both can consent to it. It's incest, is wrong. It's not what God intended for this world to be. See, what it is a lot of people believe in God, but they don't believe that the devil has a grand design for us. It's always get your harvest, get your breakthrough. Get God. Weeping may endure for a night, but the blessings is coming through, and joy will come in the morning. It's more to it than that. There's a flip side to all of this. And don't think just because you call on the name of Jesus, he's going to help you. Because there's a covenant. Once you get saved and once you give your life over to the Lord, you just don't sit back and do whatever you feel you want to do. And a lot of you people do this. You go to church and you come out and you do the same thing. The Bible says that we are supposed to die daily, which that means there's a process in your life. If you drinking, if you drugging, if you doing whatever you do, the Lord will give you time to get your life in order, but don't let it be said too late. Don't deceive your own selves. The Bible says that God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You guys better wake up. We better wake up and see that the media and everything else is leading us down the wrong path. Okay, number 7 for this program. Debase art, make it run mad, which means, okay, excuse me, let me just read this. Debase art, make it run mad. How? Promote new forms of art which will corrupt and defile the imagination of people, because art is language of the spirit. That which is inside you can bring out in painting, music, drama, etc. Look at the quality of the music that is coming out in films and out in Hollywood today. Now, people my age can attest that back in the day, the music that we listened to, It made sense. You can understand every word. Now we got Beyonce talking about who rule the world, who runs the world, girls. If I was a boy, I mean, this all of it is just it's just promoting homosexuality. It's promoting rebellion. Jay Z, all of these people, and I'm guilty. I've been guilty in the past of listening to such music, and it's not good for us. It's got a good beat. It make us feel good, but you know what? We don't listen to the words in these music. They'll tell you in a minute. Jay Z tells you in the music that he talk about. He's a god. Life, life begins when the church ends, and we not paying no attention to what we're singing. Don't you know that these people deal with the NWO, the New World Order, the Illuminati? If you want to make it big, that you got to sign your name in blood, that there's rituals that you got to go through to be big in this world. They had a concert with Beyonce. I guess she ended up pulling her earring out and she started bleeding. They had it all over Twitter where they was talking about if the queen bleed, the hive got to bleed. I mean, all of this is a ploy. It's a ploy. We're it's almost like we're living in a matrix age. As long as we feel like our life is okay, everything is fine. And it's not, people. It's not. Okay, the plan for the program, the 10 steps, number 8. Use media to promote and change mindsets. The greatest channel you need to use to change human attitude is media. Use the press, the radio, TV, and cinema. You can tell today how successful they've been in implementing the plan all the way from 1921 to now, via media as well as advertising agencies, billboards, magazines. Who control the media? The New Agers. That's who control media, the New Agers, the ones who feel like it's all right to have sex with your own children, the one that feels like it's all right for media and things like that. So next week I'm going to get to the last two because I'm out of time. How time flies when you're having fun. But I want my people to know that I love you, and we need to get a better mindset. And we need to start paying attention to the things that's before our eyes. Do not look at things blindly, because if you do, you will get caught up and your children will pay the price. So, on that note, I love you. And until next week or next time, please stay strong.